excited about the fashion brand and the makeup brand. And we just got word that the RENO that has all the clinical results, that has the phytoplankton, will be coming next week.
What?
That's right. So you guys might be able to launch it by the end of December.
Oh boy. So we're gonna talk about one of your favorite things today that kind of coincides with Rena.
Skincare.
Skincare.
That's right.
So
So
do we really need a disclaimer to
Yes,
talk
we
about
do.
skincare? Well,
yes. So the information provided is for educational purposes. It's not intended for medical advice or substitute for medical advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. You should not use this information for diagnosing a health or fitness problem or disease. You should always consult with a doctor or other healthcare professionals for medical advice or information about diagnosis and treatment. This is something that is extremely important to us because even though this is just skincare, you guys know this, everything we're producing is for health and wellness. And we do understand that probably women are more interested in skincare than men. Most women are probably more interested in makeup and clothing than men, unless you're Clayton. but
hey, don't just include me. Patrick's with me on this deal.
okay, some men like clothes and skincare, but
We like to look good.
okay, but most men, some men wear makeup, but most men don't.
That's
Which is,
right.
I think it's great if they do or don't. I'm not saying I care one way or another.
I'll only wear makeup at Halloween.
So anyway, we are going to talk about this because we've had so many questions because we launched this, and when we launched it, we really did not do it justice. We didn't do a lot of educational materials on it. We do understand that most of the root community is not a skincare community. But
I would argue that most people are using skincare products, even though they might not talk about them.
I understand, but I think that it's going to take a while to adjust to the level of interest. It's kind of like,
the passion.
it's kind of like when we launched the nutritional supplements. It took a while for people to get so passionate about it. And I believe, you know, skin is your largest organ. It's very important. It protects the body. One of the reasons that it's so important to us to launch the skincare first is because during Fashion Week, we will be launching a SuperSkin coating, which protects the skin against 5G, EFTs, different EMF. Sorry, I keep saying EFTs. Why do I keep doing that? EMFs, and against
Used to NFTs now.
yeah. Hey, 1 second. I gotta close the door.
So
Sorry,
what she's trying to iterate, and I will reiterate,
Sorry, Tilly.
is while she was at a school called Harvard doing nanotechnology and bioscience engineering, one of the things that she created was a mechanism to protect clothing and protect your skin from environmental exposure in the air and other aspects of environmental exposure. These
Yes.
things have never been done before. Much like the rest of what we carry in the routiverse, it too has not been done before because there's no one like you.
So the skincare is an important foundation, but what we're going to launch in February will be even more important. And so we're very excited to get this out in your hands and in customers' hands so that we can really target the skincare community. Because like I said, right now it's been more of the health and wellness community. And I would argue that skincare should be part of that, but we will help bridge that gap as a root community to really help people understand more and more about skincare.
So here's a question for you. Why the name ERA?
Erase.
So there's a detoxification component even to the skincare?
Yes.
Let's dive into this.
Let's go into this. So
What is the tea mix? What is
Clayton, you're
this?
going to talk a lot and I want to talk.
I'm just trying to lay the foundation. I'm asking the question.
Hey, Jayla, go back to the last slide, please. And I'm sorry, Jayla. I just want to make sure that we're talking about what really is in everyone's hands. And I'm sorry that I got on to Clayton.
Oh.
I love Clayton, but I just want to make sure there's some important facts that I think that women in the RIT community really will care about, because I know, speaking for myself, I put things on my face all the time. And this face mist has a patent pending formulation with trade secrets, and it has innovative technology to really help with the skin. One of our lines that's coming out this month will actually have clinical results. We will work on clinical results with this particular formula you guys have in your hands called ERA Facelift, but it really does include vitamins, minerals, amino acids, everything that you want to naturally hydrate and nourish the skin. One of the things I wanted to bring up, which is why I told Clayton to please let me speak, is because when I worked on the SuperSkin coating while I was at Harvard, it was really important, and I did a talk on this. At first, it was really important to really have your skin be healthy. And I don't know how many of you guys have ever seen my skin. I don't have perfect skin, but because I worked at a company called Biogen and then Biogen IDEC, which I worked there with Brad Mathis, who you guys know is now in our company, working with us and partnering with us. The skincare was really important. We had human monoclonal antibodies and different types of molecules that helped with everything from hypoderma gangrenosum to sarcoidosis, scleroderma, psoriasis. I could go on, dermatitis. And I was one of the experts and scientists in the world on the science side that worked on that. Brad Mathis was one of the people on the sales and marketing and business side that worked on that. So I understand how important skincare is. Through that, I worked with immunologists, dermatologists, and plastic surgeons to really make sure that we were offering people a better way of skincare. And one of the things I wanted to say to everyone is skincare is a lot more important than you think. Whatever you put on your skin goes into your body. So today we're going to talk about why the ingredients were important and the safety of the ingredients. And we even have a rating on every ingredient so you guys can know how safe it is for your skin. Okay, Jayla.
And you're kind of one that's not prone to doing bad stuff, because everything you're doing, you're actually doing for yourself and our family, not for everyone else, but we make it available for everyone else.
Correct. And so, by the way, Patrick, I have to say that it says pat on to put this on your face and pat your face. I just wanted to note that for Patrick. But let's go over the possible benefits of this product. Now, when we have RENO, you guys are going to know the benefits because we have research on it. This one, we're going to talk about the ingredients because this is proprietary. It has IP. We have not done all of the research yet. We will continue to do it. However, all the ingredients used in this are ingredients that I've worked on in the past on other skincare lines, and I knew it was extremely important. And then I added proprietary formulas to help the skin detox while you're supplementing. Again, the goal is to decrease the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and to produce really a calming effect on the skin.
So if you get your skin to feel better, does that have an effect on the rest of the body, like your autonomic nervous system?
Yeah, it actually does. And a lot of people don't understand that. When your skin is doing better, then something else is happening. And I'll say this before we go into the database that we're looking at for skin safety. We actually, when you put things on your skin, they go throughout your body. That's why transdermal, where you put like medicine on your skin, the bioavailability is like that because it goes directly into the skin and then it can go into the mucous membranes, et cetera, et cetera. So skin is really important. When you have a skin disorder, I've said this for years because it's one of my areas where I used to be an expert and I worked in this area for 4 years. When there's issues that are going on in your skin, there's something else going on in your body, which is why it's so important if you have skin cancer like I have, that you look at the rest of their body because there's all different things going wrong on that. Safety is spelled wrong. Thank you.
Yay, Jayla.
That was Jayla.
I had a correct one, but I didn't make it that deep.
I'm sorry.
Jayla's always good for one spelling error.
Jayla, it's okay. Thank you for pointing that out. We'll correct it. We just came up.
She's not grammatically correct either. We're not judging.
Jayla, go back. Sorry. This is not flowing right. That's why Dory's on the next one with me.
That's because Jayla can't spell.
I wanted, that's not true.
But what is Skin Deep?
So we're going to talk about the environmental working group. They've launched a unique online, basically database that looks at ingredients and they give ratings. And so I know you guys do Google. I know you look at WebMD. I know you look at different things. I also know there's doctors that have worked with skin, but are they scientists that have worked with skin and done the research? I don't know how many we have in our network. I will say I am one of them. Brad Mathis can testify to that. I did research in this area through investigator-sponsored trials for years, like I said, with rare diseases, and also helping people look
So let me
better.
let me make sure that I correct that.
Okay, just so you know, Adam is not
Well, they
he
need
needs to
unmute
translate.
Patrick or
Can you
Jacob.
go?
Well, here, let's.
Sorry, I don't want to.
So
I want to make
you
sure
were
that
you were one of the people that was actually teaching
There's Adam.
the doctors. Yeah, he's unmuted.
Okay, he is unmuted.
So you were actually teaching the doctors
Mhm.
how things worked.
I did investigator sponsored trials with doctors around the world, and I also, I did advisory boards and research so that we could figure out what the best treatments were for rare diseases with the skin. The company focused on basically psoriasis and some other areas, but as a medical science individual in the company, I did investigator sponsored trials, and for 1 year I ran publications for the company where I had 21 at one point trials that I was running, looking at different disease states and also looking at the health of the skin. So, and when you look at the skin, a lot of people think it's dermatologists or plastic surgeons. The truth is, a lot of times it's immunologists that are involved with skin, because immunologists they know that your pathways for disease, again, there's a lot of origins in the skin, or there's basically a skin disorder like psoriasis, and then a secondary autoimmune disorder like lupus or multiple sclerosis or rheumatoid arthritis. We know this, there's this link. So we worked with all kinds of doctors, even though we were focused on the skin. And I want to bring up why it was so important to look at these ingredients and to choose these ingredients and to make this in a way where you guys could use it in the most bioavailable way for your skin. I used a green tea extract from an organic natural tea leaf. And I have done patents around teas, and we've submitted additional patents on this. The reason I chose the green tea green tea extract.
Say EGCG really quickly.
EGCG. The reason I chose the one I chose is that I always try to look at the health of the skin, but because I've had cancer and because I've dealt with autoimmune disorders, I also look at secondary reasons, such as the overall health of the body.
And liver toxicity is a primary precursor of poor looking skin.
Yeah. Yes, but the reason I chose green tea was because I wanted to make sure that we looked at inflammation and we were able to treat it.
Because if you do it topically and then also internally, you're winning.
And we know that basically the cancer prevention of green tea, or we call it chemo prevention, constitutive green tea, is responsible for really reducing inflammation. And that was extremely important to me. We also know that it assists with cell proliferation, meaning if there's cancer cells, it can stop the signaling, and it basically supports healthy signaling of good cells. And so that was extremely important in choosing what I chose. And again, it's not just the ingredient, it's where we source the ingredient and how we clean the ingredient before it's put into this formula. I also put on here, and Jayla did most of the research behind why we chose the specific ingredients. It was important to also look at oxidative stress and to really help the skin with that. So green tea was one of the first ingredients added to this particular formula.
Can decrease puffiness.
Yeah.
I actually love that, because when I don't eat right, I get puffy around my eyes, and this stuff knocks it out quick.
Well, most of the community knows that I've had skin cancer
Multiple times.
The squamous cell on the tip of my nose is almost gone. The 5 basal cells are gone. I did not do the radiation, but I did light treatments, laser treatments, restore. I also did, of course, clean slate on my skin, and I do that every day. I do it around my eyes and I do it on my nose. But you'll be happy to know that since some of our formulas, I added some components that have to do with clean slate so that you guys would be able to spray that on your skin. Green tea was the first ingredient though, because I wanted to help with melanoma, help people's bodies fight off things. And I knew there was research around that, even though we can't make claims. But green and white tea were extremely important because of that. White tea is known to actually prevent wrinkles and fine lines, just like green tea, but it's also known to help fight cancer. So people always ask me, what do I drink during the day? And I sometimes will have one thing of coffee and the rest of the day I drink green tea or white tea because of cancer.
What kind of coffee do you prefer?
Rum roast.
Would it be rum roast?
It would be.
I thought so.
But when it comes to the white tea, another thing that was really important, because we're putting this topically on the skin, and you guys know that we're taking ingredients into our body that are very good, but as you know, that's inside. This is what's protecting the inside, is your outside of your body. This is extremely important, and so many times it's neglected. So white tea not only helps with cancer, it also helps with wrinkles and fine lines. It helps soothe sunburn. So someone else asked me, can this be used as a skin protector? When this first started, this particular product was meant to also have on the label that it prevents the skin from being damaged from the sun. However, there are rules in certain countries, and USA is one of them, that I can't make that claim unless I basically go through the FDA. And we wanted to launch this through the root community. So even though it's not on the label, that was my goal in producing this product. So if you look at this, white tea actually diminishes hyperpigmentation. It also helps to treat sunburn. It's protective against that as well, and it adds moisture to the skin. So it's really important. I tell people, if you're going to go out in the sun, spray this all over your face, spray this on your body. And so that's something we can't forget to talk about.
Not just your face, but your arms and hands. And so you really don't need sun lotion, suntan lotion, because those can actually cause cancer, some of them. And they're not healthy. Well,
that's the problem. And that's what my goal was, to produce something that was not damaging to the skin. And unfortunately, a lot of makeup and a lot of sunscreen has toxic, and perfume has a lot of toxic things in it, which is why we are working on cologne. It's not just because Birgit wants it. We also want a toxic-free cologne that people can use, just like deodorant, because deodorant can be bad for you, cologne can be bad for you, sunscreen's bad for you, and makeup. So we wanted to produce something that is really a solution for people that care about their skin and care about their lives. And you can see that I also added vitamin B3. That was important because, again, I'm always looking at aging. I'm also always looking at autoimmune disorders, damage, and anything that has to do with what's going on in the body. I also suffer from dark spots on my skin, which sometimes later turn into cancer. So I wanted to put something in there that really helped with dark spots. And there's been tons of research that really shows that vitamin B3 can really help across all those metrics that I just discussed. They can even help with texture, with the dark spots, with the wrinkles. So I wanted to add that. But it's important to note that usually you need to use it at least twice a day to get those results. So people are always asking, because I know in the labels we put certain things. I use this product sometimes 3 to 5 times a day. If I don't use the product, you can see a huge difference in my skin. But for me, it's really important to at least do this twice daily, regardless of the label, because we have to follow labeling rules in different countries. That's why when you guys ask me questions, like the other day, someone asked me about mitochondria defense shield. And Dory knows this, because Dory sometimes will text me and say, Christina, you can't put that high of a dose for this country, right? Because every country is different. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have, for example, 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, right?
Depending upon what you're doing.
Depending on what's going on. But you can't put that on a label because the governments won't allow it. It's like D3.
And they even decreased the allowable amounts of vitamin C last year.
Yes.
This year.
So I want to make sure, I was trying to be very careful about how you guys would understand the ingredients so that I could be as thorough as possible, because now I'm used to your questions. I used beets and I used sugar from the beets to help hydrate the skin. Again, to help with,
Natural sugars are good for you.
and I used organic beets.
Wait, no.
Yes.
Organic, healthy beets.
Yes, Clayton.
And betaine also increases the production of arginine.
Yes, it helps really with helping with the hydration of the skin as well. And it does possess a lot of anti-aging. And I don't have it on this particular slide, but it does help with irritation, including from sunburns and different things like that. So if you look at the ingredients, you guys are going to see aloe vera later, you can see how we used ingredients that help with multiple things. I want to go back to this. In the beginning, I talked about, Jayla, go back to the first ingredient slide. I'm sorry.
To the green tea.
Yeah, to the green tea. So when you see the number of a 1 to 2, that shows you the safety of the products. If it's not a 1 or 2, I'm going to go over why it is safe, because you guys will probably Google and look at things, and I want to make sure that I'm going over everything. So for green tea, it's a 1 or 2. That means it's extremely safe if you've made it the right way in every ingredient.
And that goes back
Next
to the
slide.
safety guide,
Yes.
which we hit on.
Yes. So if you go to the other ones, they're 1, right? Now, when you come to aloe vera, so all the ingredients are either 1 or 2, very safe. When you come to aloe vera, it's between a 1 or a 3. And I wanted this brought up because Jalen and I were looking at, okay, what are the safety issues of every product? And I knew that people would look up different things. So I wanted to be able to discuss all of this with you so you can discuss it with your customers. You guys know aloe vera is very good for the skin. However, if you use the actual leaf and the outer part, which some people do because they want to save money, it's not quite as good. I use the part of aloe vera that's extremely safe. So I would categorize it as a 1 or a 2. If you don't choose the right aloe vera, it could be a 3. That's why if you guys Google it, you may see aloe vera can be harmful to the skin. The truth is aloe vera helps with everything from dermatitis to psoriasis to eczema. We also know, and I know you guys know, that it's good for wound healing.
Yeah. No, you're good.
And it's good for helping with free radicals and damage. So I'd like to point out one more reason why I use this. I have teenage kids, and one of the things that I wanted to do is to help with aging, to protect the skin, to help with inflammation, to help with wrinkles, et cetera, but I also wanted it to be something that children could use or teenagers. So this is extremely helpful for different forms of acne. And if you look up the B3, white tea, and green tea and the type I used, those are also good for acne. So any of you guys that are asking about the age groups, these are great for that. Another thing is I wanted this to be used for diaper rashes or different things that babies had. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. But that's why
you can wear it on dry, cracked skin in different areas too, apparently.
Yeah, well, and I want to go back to this. So again, let's talk about the first ingredients, the primary ingredients. Your white tea, your green tea, your B3, and your aloe vera. Those are also ingredients that are used for things like genital herpes. They're also used for genital warts and things like that. And I'm not trying to talk about sexually transmitted diseases.
But they happen.
We can't make claims on any of that, but I want you to know these are all ingredients that are used by some companies, by some pharmaceutical companies, and naturally in some countries like the Middle East, that are in the Middle East or Africa or Asia, for certain types of skin disorders like that. And I always say this, it does not embarrass me to talk about sex. I was a psychologist. I used to work actually at one point with prostitutes. I also worked with sexually abused kids, and I worked with all kinds of things. It's a part of life, and sometimes things go wrong, even in the good parts of life. So we have to be people in this community that are here for everyone. So whether someone has gone through something like that that's traumatic, or whether they haven't, we need to provide solutions. And this is a particular formula that can help with different things and not just your face. And I want to make sure that I'm pointing that out, because a lot of people are going to think, oh, I just sprayed it on my face. And yes, it looks good under makeup. Yes, it looks good over makeup to set the makeup, but it actually was made not just for that, but for a whole gamut, a whole range of things that could help people. For the lavender extract, anyone that knows me knows I love lavender. I spray lavender on my pillows at night. I spray it in the room. I have lavender sage that I burn in our house. Again, the goal here was to really help calm the skin and help the body naturally heal. Lavender is known, again, just like the primary ingredients, to help with acne. So I think you guys can see a theme here, to help with skin tone and to help with wrinkles. It also can calm and soothe, and it helps again with rashes. So when babies have rashes, or babies have diaper rash, right? This is something, this particular product is something that will really help.
Just a little spritz, just squirt.
Your sister needs this for her babies.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So another thing is with lavender, it helps with burns. So if someone's burnt something, it helps with that. If you look,
so a little clean slate, a little drop of clean slate, and a little spray of the face mist on a burn is going to do quite well.
Yes. Another thing I want to point out, for any of you guys that have customers that have psoriasis or dermatitis or different kinds of skin disorders, the first four and the first 5 ingredients are known to help with things like that. So again, if you look at my past, it was dealing with rare diseases or diseases throughout the world. I wanted to make sure we produce something naturally without making claims that can support people, whether they're well or whether they're sick, and really protecting and helping the skin self-heal.
So can I ask a question? Is it accurate to think that you used your doctorate history, your research history, and your clinical history to actually formulate and create this and the other skincare formulas?
Absolutely.
Holy cow, I'm in.
Absolutely.
Is this why you didn't consult with me, because I wasn't needed?
I actually wanted to. I don't usually consult with you on.
You don't need to. You're smarter than all of us. We know these things.
I'm not smarter than everyone at all, but I am someone that has experience working on skincare products. So I wanted to point out with this, I also used a lemon fruit peel extract, and I want to make sure I point this out. A lot of times people will use this particular type of ingredient, but it matters again where they source the ingredients and then how they make the formula. And this was made in a hydrolyzed way so that it could really go into the skin in a bioavailable way. Again, I was thinking about my own skin, that I have suffered from cancer, I've suffered from brown spots, wrinkles, et cetera, and I was a lifeguard for 4 years, so I was out in the sun all the time. My family's had skin cancer. I really wanted something to help with that, and I really wanted something to actually stop fungus and bacteria as well. So this is not on this slide, but I want to bring this up to you all. Vitamin C is very important. Where you source vitamin C is really important, because the antioxidants are different in different types of fruit. Many of you guys know, or vegetables, many of you guys know that some fruit and vegetables don't have any benefits anymore because our environment's toxic. So I had to be extremely careful.
They can be counterproductive, actually.
They can be. Where this was sourced. I also wanted to use a particular type of formula that helped the body with bacteria and fungus and parasites and viruses. And let me explain that. I have this belief, and it's based on research that I've read and studies that I've been involved in, that when people have skin cancer, it's not just because they are genetically prone or just because they were exposed to the sun.
It's environmental.
I believe that people have fungus on their face like me, or bacteria like me, and you have to get it off of their face. So one of the tactics I've used on my own face is I use the Clean Slate and Restore. And then many of you guys know I'll do like a Relive mask. And then this particular spray, my goal was to be able to spray it on my skin to really help get these things off of my skin. So if you said to me, Clayton, there's no way you have fungus and bacteria on your skin, here's my comment. I've had cancer since my 20s. My whole family has cancer. we're predisposed to cancer, but also we are predisposed to fungus. Like the women in our family and the men in our family have a lot of fungus. So it's really, and fungus is really important to get rid of. And I say this a lot to you guys, when you have fungus, the problem is if you treat it, then with certain things, bacteria and viruses will grow and vice versa. So I wanted to put ingredients in there that would help the skin in all these different areas. One of the reasons people have acne as well is, again, the bacteria and the fungus. So again, if you guys look at this product, and I really want to drill this in because we haven't done this product justice. This product helps from when there's a baby to when there's an older person. Another thing I haven't talked about is as people age and they get into their 80s, fungus grows even more, bacteria grows even more. And a lot of times the skin does not retain the elasticity. This formula was meant to help people, again, from the time they were born to the time that they die. And one last thing, as far as on this approach, another thing that happens when women are pregnant is they get stretch marks. I also included ingredients in this, and we can do a whole slide on this. Dory and I will do it if you guys want, where we're talking about stretch marks and pregnancy, because this particular formula is safe and can be used with those women, and it's very helpful for the skin.
That's amazing. So can I give some advice to the gentlemen? Guys, ladies love a fun guy.
Why are you okay? They do.
Yes, they do.
Why does that have to, what's that have to do with the skincare?
Because it's fungi.
Ladies love a fun guy. Okay, ladies don't like fungus.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't like it. It's not good for our skin. It's not good for our body.
But if you were a fun guy, you might be able to stick around.
Okay, that's a joke.
We're here for entertainment as well as educational purposes as part of the disclaimer.
So let's
talk about arginine.
Let's talk about collagen and colostrum.
Oh, so I was going to hit on this because you're talking about skin elasticity and how this pertains as you age and you lose NAD levels as well. So your immune system doesn't function as well. Your skin isn't as elastic. It's not as regenerative. So is there an aspect of tying the skincare products in with the rest of the Trinity and give me back my youth and relive and natural barrier support and now immune defense shield, formerly known as mitochondrial support? Thank you, Germany.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, for me, and that's why when I can't remember who asked on one of the calls, I think it was Claire, that was funny, Astrid. Someone asked me if we're turning into what else we're doing that's not health and wellness. And my comment is everything we are doing is affiliated with health and wellness.
And greatness.
This skincare line is, again, 80% of your body. When you put things on your skin, it's bioavailable. Usually it goes into the body. So it's really important that we attack this too, and that we help our skin and our bodies.
Because you said that, people are prone to fungal exposure, but we also have a propensity for greatness, right?
Yeah.
It's built into us. It's innate in us.
Yeah.
But you actually have to make a choice and you have to do things to actually unlock that potential.
Yeah,
because it's in you.
It is in you,
but it's not something that is innately expressed unless it's fed and massaged and created.
So, and a thing that I think we haven't talked enough about either.
Skin lotion coming? Of course there is, Martina.
Yes, Martina, and shampoo and conditioner. I'm working on that right now along with the cologne. But no, I want to point this out. When you undergo stress, and we've all been undergoing stress, let's all be honest with each other. The last 3 years of our life have been very stressful for almost all of us on this call. And I think one of the things that I've been very candid about is I love this community, not because of what people think. I love this community because we've been there for each other in the good and the bad. We don't always agree. Listen, I spent a whole weekend with Clayton not agreeing.
And that wasn't an abnormal weekend.
I spent the last trip and this weekend with us disagreeing. But
And it was a long trip.
it was a long weekend. I take my jacket off. I'm starting to get hot talking about that.
Is that me?
Talking about just how,
Oh,
but it's part of,
hello, doctor.
it's part of life, right? Life's not perfect. So anytime anyone says to me they never argue with someone, I'm like, well, you must not be family, you must not be friends, because
Must not be a fun guy.
we don't always agree. But what I was going to say about, I think we will both agree that life is stressful. And here's the thing, when you're under stress, your body does not heal right. Your body does not function right. Wounds don't heal, skin doesn't look good, et cetera, et cetera. So I can tell you this, one of the reasons I added arginine, because I love arginine, but was also because I knew that arginine is very helpful for wound healing, even under stress. It's very helpful because you know this, it helps actually with neurotransmission.
Mm-hmm.
And if you said to me, there's not neurotransmission on the skin, then I would say you don't know what you're talking about, because there is, it's just transmitted in a different way. It's corresponding
out
in a
to
different
the
way. Right.
extremities, basically.
So if you look at the bottom, I want to bring you guys to the bottom bullet. It talks about a study with rats and type 3 and type 1 collagen, and it looked at aged rats, right? And it showed the benefit of arginine and glycine supplements on improving nitrogen retention in these rats, which helped with the collagen being produced and helped with the wounds. That was extremely important. So do you guys see a theme here? Wounds, sunburn, acne, stretch marks, aging, autoimmune disorders. The goal of this product, without making claims, is to support the overall health and wellness of the skin so people can be their best and look their best. Sometimes people misunderstand that a product is just how someone looks. Any product we will produce at this company will not just be so your skin looks good. It will also be with the goal to make your skin be and look better. And that's true whether you're young or whether you're old. A lot of you guys know this. Also, babies have the diaper rash, and then they get the teething rash, right? Or they get rashes everywhere. I wanted a formula because when I was a mother, I would go buy this sap that would be white, and I would put it all over my babies, on their face, on their rashes, and it was so sticky and gooey, and it smelled horrible. And I wanted something that mothers could use and people could use, whether, again, they were a baby or whether they were 80 or 90. I wanted something that smelled good and was good to really help those things like rashes, acne, scarring, et cetera, et cetera.
Now we get into these.
And you thought I was just doing something because I wanted skincare. I don't think Clayton even knew about this.
Do you ever like do something just for doing it? Or I'm going to give everyone a secret.
Can you
here.
speed read and look at this slide and tell them, do you see acne on here again, and dark spots and fading?
You know, increasing skin thickness. You know what? Hold on. If this
collagen, skin
if glutamic acid is.
And do you see 1 as far as
but let's look at this real quick. That glutamic acid increases skin thickness. So does that mean that you become less tolerant to people just spitting bad words? And do you get a thicker skin?
Dory on here. She has comments.
I know. Dory always has comments.
Dory, you're doing this with me next time.
But you see the trend of glycine and glutamic acid. And healthy skin doesn't have acne. Healthy skin doesn't have wrinkles. Healthy skin isn't inflamed.
Okay, sometimes you get wrinkles, Clayton.
Well, of course.
You have wrinkles a little bit. I have wrinkles.
Yes, because it's part of the time process. But here's a question for you. How often does your skin regenerate?
It's constantly regenerating.
And every 7 years, it's brand new, right? Everything turns over.
That's debatable because there's different thought processes on that. It's just gradually, it's
constantly changing.
It's different. So for example, when people have psoriasis, they have what's called a psoriatic cascade. So just so you guys know, when people start having issues with their skin, like psoriasis and dermatologists, I don't want to get too much into this, but there's a psoriatic cascade, and basically the skin is replicating and regenerating faster. But the problem is it produces these super plaques in the skin. And then you get these plaques, right, that are like red. So the issue with that is you need to be able to get the skin to actually slow down. Because in essence, so if you know this, I just want to point this out. People that have plaques, like if you had it here, you wouldn't get wrinkles ever because it's replicating, right? But this psoriatic cascade produces inflammation. So it's actually could be good, but it isn't. So the answer to Clayton's question is that is a standard answer, yes, but it's different for everybody.
So if you had a major inflammatory cascade going on, you'd want to address it orally and internally as well as topically. And this is where the aspects of the Trinity and Relive and Give Me Back My Youth is really important. But Give Me Back My Youth in conjunction with the bioavailable silica that you get in Clean Slate, in addition to what you can use topically, which enhances collagen synthesis, you're actually going to enhance the regeneration of skin by using them all together, because the arginine and such, which act as a catalyst on your skin, is actually going to allow your body to recognize that the collagen and silica that is available through what you're supplementing with can be used to regenerate your skin.
Yes. But can we go back to the slides in case we don't get through the slides?
We can always.
I
get
just
through
know
the slides.
everybody keeps asking me. I got all of these WhatsApps and signals, and what's the other one that I don't check a lot? Telegram and all these questions about the skincare line. And that's why, thank goodness to Jayla Archie. She went through and rated, and this is a very respectable site, rated all of our ingredients. And if you look at this, the one that has the least high rating, which is 1 to 3, basically, is aloe vera. Every other ingredient on this is extremely safe. If you go back to the other slide, Jayla, you don't have to go back. But if you look at lysine and threonine, I never say it. Threonine. If you look at those, again, it's helping promote collagen. It helps the skin with elasticity. It firms and tightens.
Where's my spray?
Again, let me go back to this. It helps with rashes. It helps with acne. It helps with all of that. So everybody that thought we had this spray for our makeup, under our makeup.
I love this stuff.
Or over it.
I need my bottle now.
This is for everything, again,
I'm
from
loving this.
rashes and to skin, people that have stretch marks, to people that have bacteria or fungus on their skin, with different things that they don't know what it is. And it helps with cancer.
Let me
supporting the body. We can't make the claim.
I like to simplify things because I'm not very bright. So here's who needs to use this after going through this. If you have skin, you need this.
If you love your skin, you need this on the rash.
If you want your skin to look better than it does now, or if you want your skin to be lush and plump,
open rashes though.
Oh yeah, open rashes, absolutely.
It's like eczema that's open.
Oh yes,
especially eczema, psoriasis,
Yes.
because that's my background.
Really?
Ted was asking, so my background was psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis at Biogen IDEC with.
That's good if you can put it on an open wound.
Open wounds.
That'd be
Yeah, so most of the ingredients, if you look at the first 5, they're all for
Kayla, go forward one more too. So we got Phytic, we got
wounds.
this is not for Nelson Mandela and not Howie Mandel acid. It was Mandelic acid. And then we have citric acid and passion fruit. She's like, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, I do want to go back. Just, I'm so sorry. Clayton and I are not on the
Go
same
back to
page.
Nelson Mandela.
Citric acid, just so you know, again, for the acne, I want to point that out. And I also want to point out, if you look at the scarring, and Dory brought up some good points as well. If you look at the scarring and you look at the stretch marks and you look at the skin being able to produce things, that's why I added these particular acids, because I wanted to help defeat acne, help with the scarring, help with stretch marks. And just so you guys know, if you're helping with wounds, if you're helping with stretch marks, you're naturally helping the body with what it's producing. We just can't, we can show the ingredients.
Can't make the claims.
We can't make the claims we're reversing psoriasis
Unless
or.
we're being entertaining in how we do it. But here's a question.
No, we can't make that.
Do you know how I got these scars?
Clayton, are you trying to be like a velveteen rabbit?
Oh. That was more of
Clayton's saying that because I have a scar right.
actually, it was more of the Joker.
I know, but let me show them this. I have a scar. So I had skin cancer on my nose. They had to take my nose, move it over, and they had to do a V right here, and they did a zigzag here because it was under my eye. And when I met Clayton, I showed him that, and he goes, I like your scars. And then he kissed them.
Oh, I did.
That's a sweet story. The reason I'm sharing that is any of you guys that have gone through mole surgery or psoriasis or cancer or dermatitis or sarcoidosis or scleroderma, I want to speak to you right now. I know you feel insecure. I know you feel like you don't look attractive, but you do. It's just none of us are perfect, but this skincare line is produced not just to make everyone look good. This skincare line was produced with a purpose to help people's skin be healthier and for your wellness to be improved because of this skincare line.
Which helps you look good.
Well, I hope usually. So, and I mean, I love,
Makes ugly people like me look good.
selfishly, I like the skincare line because it makes my skin look better. I spray it under my makeup and over it, but that was not the intention of making the skincare line. It was for wellness and health. So if you look at this next slide again.
Oh, so a byproduct is you just look outstanding and you become sexy, but
That's
it's actually
right.
good for you.
But if you look
How
at this,
sad for you.
these have 1 ratings as well. So for sage leaf extract and rosemary leaf extract, again, you're looking at what does this do for the skin? If you look at the last bullet on the rosemary leaf extract, it helps with dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis. Eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis have open wounds many times. Spraying this should help ease that. We can't claim to cure that, but we can help people feel and look better and help with that whole process. It was really important for me to add these two because of the anti-inflammation and also the bacteria. Again, my goal was to add ingredients that would get rid of the bacteria, fungus, and any parasites and viruses in the skin.
Now you get into one of my favorite extracts being pineapple because of the bromelain and papain, which I see on here. And
I thought you'd be happy about the sage.
well, we can smudge, but this is kind of the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
You get into now. Here's a question.
Well,
As,
you
as
know-
we're going through, we're like a third of the way through all of the ingredients you put in this. And you speed read, you have an eidetic memory. I don't. In your research, have you seen or found a skincare formula for a single source formula that is as complete or as intensely designed as this one? Or did you go kind of all out because that's what you do?
I went for how do we help people's skin be healthier? How do we help people that have things like eczema and psoriasis? How do we help people that have rashes that won't heal? It was a major concern because, like I said, the reason I was speaking to everyone is because what people don't know is people that suffer from things like psoriasis and dermatitis are very insecure. And I wanted something that could really help people get through that. Sure, it's important to help the skin with moisture and appearance and collagen and wrinkles. And that's obviously my goal here too. But what was really important was to help with different things like severe sunburns or eczema, different things like that. And that's what was so important. And that's why the ingredients were added. We also used raspberry extract and cranberry extract, and that was because I wanted scavengers. And what that means is a scavenger is something that goes like Pac-Man and takes care of things that are not meant to be in the body or the skin. So I used, if you really look at the pineapple and you look at the raspberry and the cranberry, that's why I chose those 3. Pineapple was on the other one. Raspberry is another one that's a scavenger, and they really help with inflammation, but they also really help get rid of those things that shouldn't be in there. And again, that was a major reason for for doing this formula. Cranberry extract, if you look at it, it does reduce redness. It helps with sunburn as well, but it's also antibacterial. So again, I know you guys are seeing this, but all of these, I mean, almost all of them say acne, right? And that's because I was targeting bacteria. I was targeting fungus. I was targeting viruses and parasites in the skin to try to help people heal without making claims. I had to put ingredients that I knew would really help people that were suffering, to be honest.
So there's a couple of questions, just some of the extra ingredients, and there's a few things that we didn't touch on. And I love that Jayla has the references, and there's like 8 references. I'm pretty confident that there was more than 8 references used in the creation of this document, but there isn't enough time to go through 50 pages. So
There's a lot. We have books of references, Clay.
So you've got carrot oil
You don't need
extract
the
in
worksheets.
here. But
Well,
some
you know
people,
why-
some people are concerned about the little things like sodium benzoate or phenoxyethanol and potassium sorbate and sodium bisulfate. Some of the little things, which are such minuscule amounts of that are needed to. Someone asked if there is accessible sulfate in here. I don't see it, but
I use
everything
small
is done and
ingredients.
it's small and clean and as healthy as possible.
I can answer this
Yes,
if you
you
would
can.
like me to. So it's like silicon dioxide. People will look at that and think it's like our
The silicon dioxide that you get in a package.
yeah, and because they
Which is not
Google
the
it
same.
and it's not the same.
Are you saying everything you get on Google might not be accurate? What?
No.
No. It's like
Well,
everything that happens on Twitter.
So I think what we should do, because we're out of time, I will do another slide deck if you guys want, that I address every single ingredient, but the other ingredients in this product are very, very small to stabilize the ingredients. That being said, I absolutely looked at the safety of every single thing that was used. It was really important to me to produce a organic, vegan, safe product. If you do look at the bottom of this, there are some ingredients that if you Googled them, there's certain things like if you ask me if orthosilic acid, which Pleno and zeolites are a form of that, right? If they're all good or all bad, no, there's thousands of them, right? So it just goes back to, and again, this goes back to politics. Are all politicians bad in every country? No.
Oh, they're not.
The answer is it's a bigger story, but I have zero problem going over every single ingredient and with you all. What we can't do, which has been happening a lot to me recently, people looked up different things on my patents, different things on videos. I don't give out the exact process I make. That's our intellectual property. I never will. Unless Clayton says to me, we really need to give that out. But even if he did, I can say no because I own the IP. It's just not the right thing to do for the community. The right thing to do for the community is to make the best products possible, to source them from the best places possible, and then hope that people use them to really help their bodies. That being said, not everyone's going to like every product. Not everyone's going to use every product, and that's
Because
okay too.
I'll simplify this for everyone. Greatness is not for everyone. If you don't like one thing in it, don't use it because I'm going to, and I'll take yours.
That's not my approach.
Oh, but it's mine
It's
because
not mine.
greatness is not for everyone, right?
I will tell
That's
everyone-
why we talk about the greatest of all time. We don't talk about mediocrity.
I-
Not everybody is willing and able and capable of tapping into what is truly available to them.
I want to make sure.
We're here for the winners.
Okay, but I do want to point this out before we end. I did use a type of sea salt, in case you're wondering, because I wanted to help that clean, because that helps with different things. And again, I worked with
Helps feed the skin
psoriasis.
too, right?
Can I finish?
Yes, you can.
That helps with psoriasis. Like you can even put the mud and the sea salt on your skin. And so that was really important to me. And I do use a type of alcohol that comes from fruit,
Is it tequila?
maybe.
Oh,
No, it's agave.
I'll see.
And I use a different type of sodium benzoate. So that is very safe as well. I can get into every single ingredient that I used, even a tiny bit of. We did not have time to do all of it. We listed the main ingredients that have the most concentration in the product. But again, we can get into even more. I just wanted to get this out so you guys had it for customers and for yourself. I'm really excited about this. I just want to say this. If you guys thought this was just to look younger, it wasn't. This is for everything from babies, like I said, to older people, to really help people. And my hope, my prayer for this is that we really help people, even though we can't make the claims. I want to help people with diseases because I actually ran a psoriasis patient group for a year. across the United States. And the pain that they go through is horrific because they don't look the same and they're embarrassed. It's in their scalp, it's on their face. So my goal was to help people in those areas that are suffering from autoimmune disorders because there's just not a lot of stuff out there. You have to take a human monoclonal antibody that costs, you know, $80,000 to $500,000 a year to help with a lot of those diseases.
You work to get that approved.
I'm working harder to get wellness products approved so we can help people all over the world.
That's right.
That's right. Thank you, Regina. I saw your heart.
Nothing like happy, healthy people.
Thank
And
you.
it's good that this was actually Roland Tang approved because, well,
By the way, I love spending time with your wife, Roland. I just want to tell you that I had such a great time with all the beautiful women in Monaco. And
actually more fun with her than we had hanging out with Roland before.
I like Roland. Oh, Roland, we went we had to go to Netherlands to do
When we were in Amsterdam, we went and got sushi again. We missed you.
We had to do, we went to the sushi place because we had to do a photo shoot and we had to work on the clothing line. And so
we snuck in. We didn't want to invite anyone.
And I said, this is not as fun without Roland. So anyway, I can't wait till next time. Next time I'm publicly inviting Dory to do the next lip plumper. What is it? Pucker?
The Pucker Performance, the Pucker Plumper.
I'm not the person that usually names the products, but I will say I'm extremely happy about this product because I'm hoping we can help babies. I'm hoping we can help children. I'm hoping we can
With the
help
Pucker Plumper?
with this product
Oh, okay.
that we did today.
I was going to say, get babies with plump lips.
Well, that won't hurt them.
No.
The Pucker Plumper was not meant just for the lips.
Oh, it's around the lips.
It's around
It's
the
for
lips
for Birgit to get.
and around the eyes.
Hold on, the Pucker Performance can be used around your eyes to get rid of the wrinkles
Yes,
around your eyes.
It has peppermint.
It is multi-performance Pucker Plumper.
I know, but the smell of it is pretty. I mean, you can feel
It's
it.
menthol.
It's
It's mentholating.
So tonight we have a corporate dinner for our corporate groups to celebrate Christmas. I wish you guys were here.
Because our staff works their heinies off. You'd be amazed when they walk around, their legs are like flat because they've worked their butts off.
I want to say, that's true. I want to say a special thank you to Violet and to Adam and Tunda for the Hungarian group that is really stepping up to grow this in Hungary. I'm very thankful for this entire root community. She's excited about her animal debut and the fashion line for dogs.
Oh yeah, she's prepping. We work out twice a day. She's making sure that her legs are nice and thick. This dog is gonna walk on the runway like Tyra Banks used to.
We're worried we're
gonna
hoping,
own it.
We're hoping she behaves on the runway because the other dogs are professional models.
No, they're not. They're all.
Oh,
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are, because we have a trainer. They asked me, who's Tilly's trainer? Ask Stephanie Pulse.
Oh,
We have
who's Tilly's trainer? It's like
the
House of Ramos.
I think Clayton's going to be the professional trainer because you actually to show up, you have to have their trainer there. So I guess it's going to be Clayton, and I'm just hoping that she behaves.
I don't think you're worried about the dog behaving.
I hope Clayton
I was
behaves.
just going to say Clayton is the perfect dog handler because she Tilly and he are sort of misbehaving but beautifully.
Thank you, Birgit. I agree. And also, we're trying to find a cat. I see Jacqueline's cat, but we're trying to find a cat because we're going to do anywhere from 5 to 10 clothing lines for animals and for people. And we will have men on the runway as well. So
Patrick's gonna let his hair down.
Patrick may be flashing his red hair around.
The
But
best part is Patrick's
do
gonna have to
cats
get a
wear?
blowout appointment before fashion week.
It's interesting though. I was telling Clayton, you know, most companies that have done what we've done, which I say we, mostly you guys have done. So we, all the root community, they don't get to go on the runway in Fashion Week with Burberry. You know, we're very fortunate that we get this opportunity as a community we're going to raise money to help for animal shelters all over the world. Clayton and I, actually not me, Clayton, you guys, the root community through Clay are donating money to help animal shelters all over the world. Yeah.
Do you know who's not gonna be at Fashion Week?
Who?
That would be Balenciaga. They won't be there
Why?
because they're bad. They got
What happened?
trashed. They did bad things.
Okay, I have a meeting. I have to say bye, but I want to say thank you.
We're taking over.
We are leaving.
One goes down, the House of Ramis comes up.
We're going to be in Colorado starting Friday, but we will be doing different calls and everything while we're there.
Many people might remember what happened this time last year when I was doing lives from the slopes. I will be on the ski hill. We will be live in the snow.
The first time Clayton went skiing, he came down in the sled with Santa Claus.
It was not Santa Claus.
Yes, it was. He was dressed up as Santa Claus.
Seriously, there was a guy dressed up as Santa
fell
Claus.
all the way down the ski slope.
I slid down the
He
hill.
slid down the ski slope. He did not slip.
Well, I hit an ice patch and popped my hamstring for the third time,
Okay.
hitting the ice. Ski down the snow.
And you guys don't know me you don't know this part of me, but when I'm close to people, I'm like,
She has no mercy.
I go, get up, you're fine.
And I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm injured. I'm like, I'm not hurt. I'm injured.
So he got down, I put a drink in front of him. I said, drink this, you'll feel better.
And it didn't help.
Anyway, thank you, you guys. We are very, very, very thankful for you. And I did when I said, Roland, we missed you in Amsterdam.
But we will be testing out the tea mist on the ski slopes.
Tea mist can also be used on animals.
Oh, you can use the tea mist on the animals too.
If they have a rash.
If they have a rash.
By the way, I want to bring up a point. Do you guys know that animals are 4 times more likely at least to have breast cancer and 38 times
Yeah, but that's not
more
fair
likely
because
to have skin
animals,
cancer?
hold on, that's not fair because animals have more nipples.
Okay, I'm just telling everyone because I want them to be prepared.
I mean, I'm just doing the math. It's 4 times more likely because they have 8 nipples. We only have 2. Some people might have more than 2.
Okay, Clayton.
But it's 4 times more likely just because there's more of them.
Okay.
But they're 7
Ted,
times
tell
more
me to say
likely to have
bye.
cancer.
Yep,
because
say
of
bye.
renal exposure.
Bye.
That's all I got.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa, my friends.